In leadership theory today, there's considerable discussion about parallels between leadership of corporations, groups, institutions, political parties, public movements, etc., on the one hand, and the organic tradition of leadership in tribal communities. So one of the dilemmas most often posed in this discussion is whether modern leaders should be more like tribal chiefs or more like medicine men. Should they be more like chiefs who were often elected because they were the best and the strongest warriors and strategists, or more like medicine men who were seen as being in possession of arcane and esoteric knowledge and who were able to intuit things, events, even future developments in ways that the tribe or the community sees as crucial to its success and its well-being. Medicine men were obviously also entrusted with various healing practices within the community, not strictly medicine, but healing, both physical and mental. So medicine men were the paradigm, the organic tribal community paradigm of psychotherapists, priests, counselors combined. So should a leader be more like a tribal chief or more like a medicine man? And this is in fact the question that was posed during World War II by Carl Gustav Jung. Jung has a paper published in one of the less known journals in Switzerland where he talks about Hitler, and he describes Hitler as obviously the most notorious leader of his time as someone who does not resemble a tribal chief but rather a medicine man. Hitler, whose appearance was unimpressive, a fairly small, physically small, short, sickly looking man with ambitious of grandeur and global conquest. He portrayed himself as the medicine man, says Jung, for the German people, and Jung argues further, he pulled the German nation into madness alongside him. Interestingly enough, Hitler was very impressed by Jung, and even though Jung made such statements about him, statements of contempt, Hitler never tried to punish Jung. It was easy for Hitler, it would have been easy for Hitler to reach Jung. He had imprisoned and assassinated and sent to camps and expelled from Germany and its surrounding countries many intellectuals, including psychiatrists, who were opposed to his ideology. But he never actually attempted to act against Jung, even though Jung was close by and he was very critical of Hitler. And this distinction has been revived in modern debates about leadership, even though it is not specifically and directly attributed to Jung, but it has been revived. And now really we see different leaders portraying themselves as either tribal chiefs or as medicine men, depending on their level of education, on their personal sensibility, on their capacity for empathy, on their ability to relate to the other's pain, on their ability to lead by inclusion or by the projection of force that they have at their disposal as formerly elected leaders. And this style election, this choice of the style of leadership is largely a reflection of one's character, but it is also a reflection. The acceptance of such a style of leadership is also a reflection of the nature of the community, of the nature of the people who are led by such leaders. Arthur Schopenhauer has an interesting argument concerning this. He says the nature of the life that we live in, the nature of the world we live in, is the perfect judgment for who we are and for our character. The life we live in, the world we have shaped for ourselves, is a precise picture of our own worth and virtues as human beings. And this echoes Hegel's often quoted idea that every nation deserves the government that it has. In fact, if we look at the controversies that surround all kinds of public policies today, including, for example, a debate about the independence of the judiciary, where you have obvious situations where the judiciary, not only in failed countries and failed states, but also in states that consider themselves and are considered globally as being the champions of democracy and the independent judiciary, where the judiciary in those countries is used to persecute, presidential candidates ahead of the election and for the obviously politically motivated campaigns where charges are trumped up for all kinds of basically ridiculous offenses, and then they are used as public relations instruments against various individuals. We basically see the downfall of leadership on all kinds of levels, and we see that this debate and this dilemma between tribal chief style and tribal medicine man style leadership is being revived. Increasingly, political leaders resort to tribal chief style leadership. Look at Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, how he behaves, what he does, apparently against opinions and will of many of the Israeli people. Look at the American elections between the candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Look at the role of the judiciary throughout that electoral campaign, and you will see that basically there is a tendency towards the more tribal chief style leadership, where the prerogatives and instruments of power are used and abused repeatedly to achieve Machiavellian visions of political leadership and political goals. Whereas what we might in fact need is a more medicine man style leadership, where people would be able to attain and receive some kind of solace, some kind of comfort, some kind of reassurance by their leaders in order to achieve a greater, higher quality of life. A medicine man style leadership is focused on the quality of life, whereas the tribal chief style leadership is focused on conquest and consolidation of power. And these two styles of thinking about leadership apply across the relevant areas of our lives, not only in politics and management and corporate living, but also in our private relationships. One of the dangers is that on the public level, on the level of public life, we end up with tribal chief style leadership dominated by power, manipulation, Machiavellianism and abuse. And on the private level, that we might end up with medicine man style leadership, with increasingly many people flocking to psychotherapy to all kinds of counseling, expressing their deep frustrations and their deep sadness at how their community has been shaped and what kind of life they have in their community. And this schism between the private medicine man style leadership that is sought in our everyday lives and the public tribal chief style leadership that has been imposed on us might cause further degradation of our politics and our social life, because people who think in the way of medicine man style leadership are disinclined to engage in political confrontations and in a quest for power, whereas this can only benefit those who embrace the tribal chief style leadership and who increasingly are at the very political helm of our societies. So the private, the saddened and the increasingly introverted populations might sort of inadvertently feed the greed and the passions of the tribal chief style leaders at the top of the political hierarchies in their societies to further consolidate and cement their controlling, manipulative and abusive power.